Further, the narrator says, I continued down the road, and my cousin Murad went across the field towards the irrigation ditch. It took him half an hour to find the horse and bring him back. All right, he said, jump on. The whole world is awake now. What will we do? I said. Well, he said, we'll either take him back or hide him until tomorrow morning. He didn't sound worried, and I knew he would hide him and not take him back. Not for a while at any rate. Where will we hide him? I said. I know a place, he said. How long ago did you steal this horse? I said. It suddenly dawned on me, dawn means appeared on me, that he had been taking these early morning rides for some time and had come for me this morning only because he knew how much I longed to ride. So in these lines, now the narrator says that Aram, he looked for the horse down the road. He went down to search the horse as horse had run away, and Murad went towards the irrigation ditch. He and though both of them went to the different directions, Murad went towards the irrigation ditch where the horse had run, and he came back after 30 minutes with the horse. He told him to jump over as the whole world was awake, and now he was riding a horse. He came to Aram and asked him to sit on his back, and they would quickly go and hide the horse before the whole world was awake and come to know that they had stolen the horse. Aram asked them what would they do now, to which Murad told him about the two options. Either he said that we would take him back or hide him until tomorrow. Murad was not worried, and Aram knew that Murad would hide him somewhere and not take him back for a while. Aram asked him, where would he hide him? And Murad told him that he knew a place. He was aware of a place, a perfect place, as a hidden spot. Then Aram eagerly asked him when he stole the horse. It appeared to him that Murad had been taking horse for morning rides for quite some time, because the way he was riding shows that he had stolen the horse few days back, and he had been continuously riding, taking early morning rides since then. And then after he had a command over the horse, and horse started understanding Murad. Now that day, as he knew that Aram was also fond of riding horses, he came to Aram to take him for a ride. Then further, in the next line he says, who said anything about stealing a horse? He said, anyhow. I said, how long ago did you begin riding every morning? Not until this morning, he said. Are you telling the truth? I said. Of course not, he said. But if we are found out, that's what you are to say. So now Murad wants Aram to speak lie, to tell lies, because now he understood, Aram knew that he had not stolen the horse that same day when he came to him, but he had stolen the horse many days back, and so now he wants Aram also to tell that lie to everybody, that he had got the horse that day only. And I don't want both of us to be liars. All you know is that we started riding this morning. All right, I said. He walked the horse quietly to the barn. Barn is the storehouse where the harvest is kept, where the crops are kept, stored. Barn of a deserted vineyard, which at one time had been the pride of a farmer named Fetwigen. There were some oats and dry alfalfa in the barn. Alfalfa is a flowering plant. So at that time, in that barn or in that storehouse, there were two crops, oats and dry alfalfa was there. Then he says, we began walking home. It wasn't easy, he said, to get the horse to behave so nicely. At first, it wanted to run wild, but as I've told you, I have a way with a horse. I can get it to want to do anything I wanted to do. Horses understand me. So now Murad, he explains Aram that it is not easy to ride a horse. And first, when he started to ride, the horse wanted to run wild, but because he knew how to control them, he had a way. According to him, he had a way with the horse. Horses understand him. That's why he was able to control him and ride properly. So in all these lines, now Murad shuts him down by asking a counter question about who talks about stealing a horse. Aram tried to change the question, but by asking him since how long was he riding the horse, because it did not seem that Murad had was riding a horse since morning only. Then Murad told him that morning was the first time. Then again he is telling lie, and Aram was not convinced and asked him if he was telling the truth. Then Murad said if anyone asked Aram, he should say that it was true. He further added that he didn't want them to be liars, but they had to say only this. Then Aram agreed, and Murad walked the horse quietly towards the barn. Barn is the store, and they just took the horse to hide it in the deserted or the lonely vineyard which belonged to a farmer, which once belonged to a farmer named Fetvigen. And the barn consisted of two crops, that is oats and alfalfa. Now they started walking home after that, after keeping the horse there. Then Murad told Aram that if it was not easy to get the horse to behave nicely, as it wanted to run wild at first. Then he told him again that he had a way with the horse. He understood the horse and horse understood him. Then further in the next lines, the narrator says, "How do you know it's I said? I have an understanding with the horse," he said. "Yes, but what sort of an understanding?" I said. Then further he says, "A simple and honest one," he said. "Well," I said, "I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with a horse." "You are still a small boy," he said. "When you get to be 13, you'll know how to do it." I went home and ate a hearty breakfast. So now Aram amusingly asked him how he controlled the horse, to which Murad said that he had an understanding with the horse. Then Aram asked him what sort of an understanding did he have with him, to which Murad told him. Then he said a simple and honest one. That is, Aram confessed that he would like to know how to have an understanding with the horse, because Aram also wanted to ride the horse like Murad. Then Murad assured Aram by saying that he is still a small boy and he will learn when he will be 13 years of age. This shows that Murad was 13 years and Aram was younger to Murad. Then Aram went home and ate a lot of breakfast after having a ride because he was tired. Then further the narrator says, that afternoon my uncle Khosrow came to our house for coffee and cigarettes. He sat in the parlor. Parlor is the small, you can say the shop which sells the tea and everything to the customers. So they just said it is a kind of a small restaurant. Then sipping and smoking and remembering the old country. Then another visitor arrived, a farmer named John Byro, an Assyrian who out of loneliness and had learned to speak Armenian. My mother brought the lonely visitor coffee and tobacco, and he rolled a cigarette and sipped and smoked, and then at last, sighing sadly, he said, "My white horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. I cannot understand it." My uncle Khosrow became very irritated and shouted, "It's no harm. What is the loss of a horse? Haven't we all lost the homeland? What is this crying over a horse?" Then further he says that now that day his uncle Khosrow visited his house for coffee and cigarettes, and he sat in the parlor and was remembering the old country when a person came to visit him, and that person was John Byro, a farmer whose horse had been stolen, who learned to speak, and that farmer, he learned to speak Armenian because of loneliness, because he was left over there as his horse was stolen and he could not go back to his homeland. His mother brought Byro some coffee. Aram's mother served Byro some coffee and tobacco, and he sipped and smoked and told them about his missing white horse very sadly, who was stolen last month, and he is not able to find it. And on this account, Khosrow rode again and said that it's no harm, and shouted that he was crying over a lost horse when they had lost their homeland long time back. So he said, according to Khosrow, that one should not cry over the spilt milk, means the things have gone now. What has happened to you, we should look forward. And he always said that never, and it was a stock reply of Uncle Khusro. Further, in the next line, the narrator says that that may be all right for you, a city dweller, to say, John Byro said, but what of my surrey? Surrey is the cart that was driven by his horse. What good is a surrey without a horse? He could not move the surrey without a horse. Surrey is the carriage. So he said, pay no attention to it. My Uncle Khusro rode. I walked 10 miles to get there. John Byro said, you have legs. My Uncle Khusro shouted. My left leg pains me, the farmer said. Pay no attention to it. My Uncle Khusro rode. That horse cost me $60, the farmer said. So here in these lines, the narrator now is telling that how Uncle Khusro talked to that John Byro, who had lost his horse, or whose horse had been stolen many days before, and because of which he could not move his surrey and he could not go back to his home. So in these lines, the narrator says that John replied to Khusro that he would not bother, as he lived in a city, because Khusro was living in his own city, so he is not bothered. But his country was of no good without his horse. Khusro shouted that he must not pay attention to it, and John told him that he walked down 10 miles to come here. And Khusro shouted that he has legs, to which John said that his left leg was paining, it hurt, and therefore he was not able to walk properly also. Khusro again tried to shut him down by saying that he should not pay any attention to it.